Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm First Alert meteorologist Lauren Linehan, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt this evening. Welcome to First Alert Weather Extra, our exclusive digital streaming show. No matter what platform you're watching us on, whether it be the WBRC First Alert Weather app, our website, on your favorite streaming platform like Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, we are here to give you that little extra something when it comes to the weather forecast. And I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief knowing that the severe weather of the past 2 days is behind us. And even though we saw severe weather here in Alabama, right next door, Georgia was no stranger to some powerful tornadoes that ripped across the state. And we actually have some video here of one of those tornadoes that was caught on camera. This is in Leslie, Georgia, in Sumter County, Georgia's Sumter County at least. And this was on the ground for quite some time. Oftentimes it's hard to get such a clear view of tornadoes like this in our neck of the woods. Sometimes it's a little easier to see that in areas out west like the Great Plains, but this was pretty prolific video that we saw. It did cause some damage, and unfortunately 3 lives were lost with this tornado outbreak across the southeast. So I would definitely say if we're looking at Alabama versus Georgia, Georgia certainly, and into South Carolina, basically bared the brunt of a lot of those storms that came through with multiple tornado warnings. So not just us breathing a sigh of relief here in Alabama, but also next door in Georgia. I know my mom was happy not to have any tornadoes down in South Georgia, but let's get to that local forecast here. You know, we were talking about the fact that tornadoes in our neck of the woods are obviously very common during the springtime months, but I want to show you as we look at the tornadoes that we've actually seen thus far this year. It does look like we have been seeing an increase in tornado activity. So if you look at those averages across our area, areas like in Alabama, not just Alabama, but across the U.S. in general, we look at those historical averages, January, 40-something tornadoes, but you can already see in 2022 we have exceeded that. We have exceeded the number of confirmed tornadoes, not just in January, but February, and also in March, where we saw in excess quite a drastic increase, not just 80 with that historical average of potential tornadoes, but actually over 200 tornadoes. So you can see this year we are already going well above where we should be. And so that's certainly something we're going to be mindful of when we do have these risks for severe weather, why we give you that first alert. Even if it's a low end risk, we have seen that historical trend this year that the climatology tells us that it's certainly an active weather pattern that we have been in. Now, as we look ahead to the next week or so, we still could see a chance for the potential for severe weather going into next week. Looking at those first alert weather headlines, as we get into the next 24 hours at least, it's still going to be blustery. You probably noticed how windy it was today. And we know when the wind's blowing, especially if we have some cooler air trying to creep in, that's just going to make it feel all that much cooler. So with those blustery conditions tomorrow, that's going to set us up for a reinforcing shot of cooler air as we go into the weekend. That's going to be bringing a first alert, warranting that for Saturday and Sunday, maybe for some frost around. So we got that weekend cool snap in store, but then once we get past the weekend and see this next little shot of cool air come in next week, not only is it going to get warmer again, but we could get stormy again. Now, we're not seeing big signals for severe weather next week, but we'll talk about that coming up in the show, break that all down for you. In the meantime, what we've been dealing with today, how blustery it's been. And of course, even though we've had the rain come through, there's still plenty of pollen around that you have the wind blowing. Not only can it make it feel a little cooler outside, but it can certainly irritate your sinuses and allergies. And those pollen levels still running high. Looking at those current wind speeds this evening, we're seeing winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour, even a 25 mile per hour wind still in Fayette. And that's sustained winds. That's not talking about gusts. Gusts have been in excess of 30 miles per hour today. So behind that front that came through yesterday that brought us that stormy weather, we've been consistently seeing that westerly flow in place. But Even though we've had some storms around, we've been getting in some gorgeous weather photos on the WBRC First Alert Weather app. If you're not watching through the app right now and you're streaming us in another capacity, you can scan that QR code at the top right corner of your screen, and that will take you directly to the WBRC app to download. This is a gorgeous shot from Lake Guntersville Stake Park that was sent in from Doug Williams. This was actually of the sunset before the storms came through yesterday. And then you can see how that changed within a 24-hour period. A beautiful view of the storms. It's always nice to see storms in the distance, especially if you know they're not causing damage. You can get these gorgeous photos, and we certainly had some great views here at WBRC as well. So one thing that we've noticed today is obviously we don't have any more storms around, but there's been some drier air that has been moving in, and that drier air has brought us lower dew points. When you hear meteorologists talk about dew points, that is a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So when you see dew points getting into the 10s, 20s, 30s, that means the air is pretty dry. Now in the summertime, we often have dew points in the 60s and the 70s, and that means it doesn't feel so great. It can feel a little muggy, and we also look for that increase in dew points when we see setups for severe weather, which is what we're going to be watching into next week. But in the meantime, tomorrow morning is still going to be dry. So when you head out the door tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the 40s. But bear in mind, winds are going to be blowing. So that means that wind chill is certainly going to be feeling at least like it could be into the upper 30s. So I'd have that warm jacket before you walk out the door. Even though we'll have some sun around tomorrow, we're going to see an increase in cloud cover as a disturbance moves in and brings us a measly chance of rain tomorrow. We're talking 20% or less. Most of us are going to stay dry, but also bring in that reinforcing shot of cool air with that increase in cloud cover. I mean, just in the past 24 hours alone, temperatures have already dropped a good 10 to 15 degrees. So if you think today isn't as cool as it's going to be tomorrow, buckle up, right? It's going to definitely be one of those spring cool snaps that we always typically see right before Easter, which we are a few weeks out from. So as we look at those high temperatures tomorrow across West Alabama in our southwest counties, which are typically going to be the warmest, even in areas like Livingston, Utah, New Bern, temperatures struggling to get much warmer than the low 60s. And if you look across northwest Alabama, normally one of our cooler spots, looks like temperatures would struggle to get any warmer than the mid 50s from Hamilton to Double Springs. So we're going to have that increase in cloud cover that would certainly help to facilitate lower temperatures than you would normally see on an afternoon. So still want that jacket around through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Alabaster, Harpersville, not getting much warmer than 60 degrees, upper 50s, Bluntsville, 54 degrees for a high for your Friday. And then across East Alabama, of course, as we get up into those higher elevations, high temperatures struggling to get any warmer than the 50s, then maybe getting into our East Central Alabama counties hitting that 60-degree mark. But like I said, with some clouds around, that's just going to help it to be a little bit cooler. And you'll notice some of that cloud cover beginning to move in our First Alert Sky Vision from Birmingham. Temperatures right now as we head into the evening, a lot of spots still in the 60s, but sun is gradually going to be setting here over the next 30 minutes or so. And so we'll see those temperatures go down into the 40s. Remember, even though we could be in the 40s tomorrow morning, it could feel a lot cooler than that with those winds blowing. But of course, we've been talking about this cooler weather. What about that potential for frost as we get into the weekend? We're going to talk about that in more detail as we get later into the show. But next up, we will be having a look at our weekend forecast, and that weekend forecast not just for here in central Alabama, but the mountains. If you're going to be headed up that way, could there be a possibility for snow? Not out of the question. And we've been talking about the mountains, but what about the beach forecast? Someone may be wanting to have a little beach getaway this weekend, and then a couple months down the road, when you go to the beach, you got to think about hurricane season. That 2022 hurricane update coming up after the break, and we'll also check in with Mickey Ferguson for a look at that out the door forecast for your Friday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on this gorgeous Thursday evening. Don't even know why I'm in the studio. We should all get outside. It feels absolutely lovely out there, but it's going to be colder by this time tomorrow. So we're talking about this cool snap coming in, but we actually have an update on hurricane season. I know you almost cover your ears. You don't even want to talk about it. Don't even want to hear about it. But we are less than 2 months out from the start of hurricane season, which begins on June 1st and lasts through November 30th. So we actually have Colorado State University has released their updated hurricane forecast, or just released it. This is the fresh one that they have been coming up with over the past couple of months. And this is looking ahead to the season that we'll be seeing. So on average, if you look at a typical hurricane season and you calculate the average, you typically have maybe 14 named storms. But as we've been seeing in the past few years, the forecast that they have made thus far this April does call for an above average hurricane season. So that would involve 19 named storms. A hurricane is one that has winds in excess of 74 miles per hour. So that's not counting tropical storms that would be named, but actual hurricanes, we could see maybe close to 9 to 10 hurricanes. And then major hurricanes, that's category 3 or higher, 4. So that would be above the average of 3. And I think we're going to be seeing a shift to a type of pattern that would support a more active hurricane season. We have something called El Nino, and we talk about these things called teleconnections, which is the surface temperature and the water temperature in the ocean, how it fluctuates over different parts of the globe, and how that can help influence different weather patterns where you are. So with an El Nino season, it's not out of the question that we could see that higher than normal hurricane activity. And now I want to bring in meteorologist Jill Gilardi. We have been talking about hurricane season, but also that potential for, before we even think about hurricane season, what about the possibility of mountain snow going into the weekend?
Yeah, winter isn't over yet, and we have, believe it or not, some snow in the forecast this weekend over towards the Smokies. So let's show you that future radar. Again, we have a little bit of mixed precipitation tomorrow possibly, but it's really going to be Friday night. You notice the blue starting to show up into Saturday. There's the chance for some snow in the mountains. We're talking about, again, Saturday morning into the afternoon. Of course, you get into the valley location, might be just plain old rain. So it could be a cool sight to see. Certainly if you are going up there and you see some, white-capped mountains, things like that, definitely take a picture and share it with us. And you can send it through the WBRC First Alert Weather app. Again, how much snow could accumulate? Well, the data is hinting at today some areas over 5 inches in the higher terrain, but then once you get down in the valley, that amount really drops off. So again, we could see a little bit of snow up there, not out of the question. The actual forecast, though, for say Gatlinburg looks like this. For Saturday in the morning, it's 34 to start, so you might see some snow initially, but then it turns to all rain and 48 for the afternoon high. That cold snap doesn't last long. We're going to see those temperatures quickly warming up next week there and this week here. So we'll be talking more about that. I know Lauren will have more coming up in her long-range forecast coming up very soon right here. Lauren?
Yeah, thanks for that, Jill. And I know you love some snow, being a resident Yankee here on the First Alert weather team. So maybe we can get you up to the mountains this weekend. If you're like me and prefer to go a little farther south, we want to give you that beach forecast if you are headed there. I know spring break is already behind you, but it's this time of the year you're like, can I just get away for the weekend? So as we look at those current temperatures along the Gulf Coast, we are seeing 70s. So today we didn't manage to get out of the 60s here in central Alabama, but if you need a little bit of warmth, the Florida Panhandle is the place to be, and into southwest Alabama with temperatures into the 70s this evening. Very pleasant. Now, as we look at that beach forecast as we head into the weekend, we've been talking about that potential for maybe a couple stray showers here. I don't think it's out of the question to see a stray shower along the Gulf Coast, but mainly looking fairly dry for the weekend. Notice though those winds. This is in Gulf Shores. We're talking west-northwest winds at 20 to 25 miles per hour, and that's sustained. That's not talking about gusts. So definitely going to be seeing some gusty winds into the weekend. You know, we're all feeling the impacts of that cold front that has come through. If you're headed towards the Florida Panhandle, getting into Pensacola, highs will go from the 70s on Friday to the 60s on Saturday. So even down farther south, feeling the effects of that cooler air creeping in for the weekend, that little spring cool snap. So some more clouds around on Friday and Destin, but then seeing that emerging sunshine again on Saturday. Rain chances don't look overly promising down there, but definitely an increase in cloud cover like we're going to be seeing here in our neck of the woods, headed down to PCB. Temperatures not getting much warmer than the low 70s, but y'all know the drill. Even along the Gulf Coast, if you see temperatures in the 70s, you factor in that breeze, definitely could feel a little cooler. And I don't know about you, there's nothing more annoying when you're on the beach and the sand is blowing. So that could certainly be a bit of a nuisance heading into the weekend. But as we look over the next 7 days along the Gulf Coast, as we get into the weekend, we'll be seeing some more sunshine once you get past that potential for some clouds around tomorrow. But we've been mentioning that unsettled weather pattern that we could see emerging here in central Alabama next week. There's also a chance that could be emerging along the Gulf Coast, and we talked about not only the fact that it could be getting a little wetter at times next week, but also warmer. And you can see that trend reflected here along the water too, looking breezy. You see a shift in winds from the north and west to out of the south. You got that southerly component to the wind that's going to make it a little bit milder, a little bit more humid. Always going to be a little bit more humid closer to the water, but a chance of thunderstorms in the forecast. So we'll talk about that own chance of thunderstorms here in our neck of the woods as we go into next week. Coming up after this break.
Every morning on Good Day Alabama, we know the news that matters the most to you is the news that hits closest to home.
And we know that to tell the best story means going to where the story is. That's why having more reporters in more places is so essential.
Giving you more local stories that impact your family, your school, and your safety.
On air, online, and on the app.
That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
I hear from people all the time with questions about healthcare, their insurance, and the safety of certain treatments. I'm Morgan Hightower, and I investigate these stories because if I were being taken advantage of, or if my family couldn't get the help they needed, I would want to know how to take action. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, getting answers, keeping you informed and safe. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Get pinpoint locations down to your street level on the First Alert Weather app you can download by searching WBRC in your app store. That's accuracy you can plan on.
I hear from people all the time having problems with their landlord or worried about being ripped off by a bad business. I'm Josh Gann, and I investigate stories like these because if I had questions about protecting my finances or how to save more money, I would want the best advice available. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side getting answers, keeping you informed and safe. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Get First Alert weather and breaking news. Follow us on Twitter. Search at WBRC News.
Get First Alert weather and breaking news. Follow us on Facebook. Search at WBRC News.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. We have certainly been feeling the winds blowing a little bit today, and I got to tell you, tomorrow's going to be no exception. And if you thought it was windy today, guess what? Probably going to be a little bit windier for tomorrow. So let's look at those Futurecast wind gusts as we go ahead in time here. We had gusts get up to 30 miles per hour in some spots today. Now overnight, it's not going to be as blustery, but once the sun comes out tomorrow, those winds are going to pick back up again. So a first alert for gusts getting close to 25-30 miles per hour. This is all because a reinforcing shot of cool air is coming in tomorrow. So you'll know what that means. That cooler air comes in tomorrow, going to be setting us up for a chilly weekend. Oh, I almost have to just hit pause here. Look at how gorgeous this sunset is. Do you see this, Jill? Man, I mean, you may want to take a screenshot of this, I'm going to say. Looking at our first alert sky vision, Brookwood Baptist Medical Center showing off this evening. That is a gorgeous sunset. If you have any of your own sunset photos, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to remind you again, submit them through the WBRC First Alert Weather app because we want to show them off. Maybe we could show them off here before the end of the show if you're fast enough. If you're watching though, keep watching, then send it afterwards. So gorgeous tonight with those clouds moving in, and we're going to see more clouds around for tomorrow as we begin to see that cloud cover moving in. Temperatures are falling a little bit with the sun still out. 58 in Hamilton, 57 in Haleyville, still at 64 in Columbiana, 64 in Anniston. So obviously we've been talking about on First Alert Weather Extra that we're going to be on all of your streaming devices. So make sure you follow us here as we get into the Monday through Friday pattern, 6:30 to 7 to watch. Now tomorrow, when you're getting prepared to watch First Alert Weather Extra, you're wondering, is there going to be any rain around? Well, I think we're just talking a 10% chance or less of a stray shower. Now you'll notice over the next 24 hours our Futurecast is trying to spit out a little blip of green there, but I think it's just generally going to be too dry to see much in the way of rain. You may manage a stray sprinkle for tomorrow, but I think the main thing is we're going to see an increase in moisture in the way of cloud cover. So you'll see some sunshine tomorrow, but there's going to be more clouds in the mix, so partly sunny skies. And with that cloud cover and the blustery conditions, temperatures just likely aren't going to get much warmer than 60 degrees tomorrow. I think a lot of us are going to see highs in the 50s tomorrow morning to get you out the door in the 40s, and you factor in that the wind's blowing. Got to have that warm jacket because I hate to say it, wind chills could easily be in the 30s tomorrow morning, and then the actual air temperature could get into the 30s over the weekend. That's why we have a first alert for frost. Got to cover up those sensitive plants for not just tomorrow night, but Saturday night as well. So if you're going to be headed to the Barons baseball game, one of them this weekend, I would say Sunday looks like the best one because highs will finally rebound into the 70s on Sunday afternoon. But as we look ahead to next week, we got some rain back in the forecast. So we're going to be tracking the potential for more showers, just a chance of showers on Monday and Tuesday. We aren't seeing much in the way of a severe weather threat yet. I do think Wednesday, though, into Thursday, that's when we could see some thunderstorms moving back into the forecast. So as always, we'll keep you updated on that on the WBRC First Alert Weather app. But the main thing, our next big thing here over the next few days is going to be that potential for frost over the weekend. If you're like me or like my plants, already sick of these little cool snaps, ready for just a nice extended stretch of warm weather. I know meteorologist Jill Gilardi is also a plant mom. So Jill, I think our plants would certainly be very happy as we get into next week to see some warmer temperatures in the forecast. But as of right now, I would say we still got a long ways to go the next 3 days.
Yeah, I'm seeing some signals of, more frost potential in the future, but I did want to jump ahead to the 17th. We all know that's Easter Sunday, and what showed up a few days ago is back again. It went away, and so unfortunately we're going to be watching the 17th very closely because we've got those winds coming in from the southeast. We've got it from a different direction from the southwest and faster aloft. We've got instability moving in. So we've got all these things coming together potentially for thunderstorms, some of which could be severe if this pans out. Again, I've been seeing signs of this in the data. When we were talking about beyond the 7-day earlier in the week, there was a sign of this, then it kind of went away for a day. It's back. So something we're really going to have to watch as we get towards, of course, the 17th Easter Sunday. Hopefully it goes away again and never comes back. But let's talk about beyond the 7-day. We're going to see the 15th, those temperatures are going to be in these 70s and 60s, nothing too extreme. There goes that system. Again, you have a winter side to it and the spring side of it on Easter Sunday. After that, we could have some 30s returning. There could be some areas of frost again around the 19th, not impossible, and seeing signs of a cooler rainmaker. That would be around the 21st or so. And again, there's more hints at potential frost in our future. So again, we might have to be patient and wait until May 1st, again, to practice our green thumb. We'll have much more on Weather Extra after this break.
Getting live breaking news and local updates has never been easier. That's because we're on your side with the WBRC streaming app. Need updates between newscasts? You can catch up quick here. And when we're live on TV, we're live here too, giving you more ways to get caught up with everything happening where you live. Plus, exclusive videos from your First Alert weather team. It's easy to use and it's free. Just search WBRC on your Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. WBRC Fox 6 News is on your side.
You've got enough to worry about every day. That's why the First Alert Weather Team is on your side, so you can plan with confidence and take the worry out of weather. With exclusive First Alert AccuTrack, we pinpoint storms before they arrive. And with Weather Every 6, you are always informed. Alabama's weather changes fast, but we're working even faster, updating and alerting you first. We know your plans are important. This is why we First Alert.
Every morning on Good Day Alabama, we're on your side, trying to get you where you're going safely. First Alert Traffic updates you on slowdowns and gives you alternate routes. Having more reporters covering the roads you drive on gives you even more info to help you know more about why it happened and when it will be cleared. On air, online, and on the app. That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
I get calls and emails all the time from people wanting to know how cities, counties, and the state are spending their tax dollars. I'm Jennifer Horton, and I investigate how your tax dollars are being used because I don't want your money or mine wasted or fraudulently spent by politicians in power. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, following the paper trail, asking the tough questions, and giving you the facts. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
So what should we wear tomorrow? Let's take a peek. You know, it's still going to be breezy out there, so short sleeves and maybe some long pants and a jacket. Now, if you wear a hat, just hold on to it. It's going to be a little bit breezy tomorrow morning, but the winds really pick up as we get into the day tomorrow. Check it out. Here is your bus stop forecast for tomorrow. Early in the morning, we're down to about 41 degrees. That's why I'm talking about a jacket, but you might want to hold on to it. We just get up into the 50s tomorrow, and look at that wind. It really picks up. Very similar to the winds of today. Yeah, coming at you about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Let's fast forward into the weekend. UAB's got their big spring game. It's going to be at Protective Stadium at 1 p.m., and right at 1 p.m. we see sunshine out there. Still a little bit windy on Saturday as well, but windbreaker, a hat, and some sunglasses, you ought to be doing just fine to watch the big spring game. Hey, if you got any pictures, weather pictures, send them on in. You scroll down to the very bottom of our First Alert weather app. We'd love to see some sunrise pictures in the mornings on Good Day Alabama, or we can share them as well here on Weather Extra. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And you guys heard Mickey. We've seen that gorgeous sunset out there tonight. Send in those photos on the WBRC First Alert weather app and tune in again this time tomorrow night for First Alert Weather Extra again as we head into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Thursday evening.